We're going to do a quick little benchmark. It is benchmarking. While it's benchmarking, I'm going to show you the parts in this thing. This SSD NVMe is pretty awesome because it came with that screwdriver in there, and it also has a screw in order to tighten the NVMe down in there. This is hands down one of my favorite cases. This is a Phanteks case. Highly recommend it. That RGB strip, it just makes a huge difference. I built a lot of computers in this ever since building one for my buddy's son. So I did get a 750 watt power supply. I got that on Prime Day. I know that that's totally overkill for a 4060, but it is going to future proof the person that's going to be buying that. They're going to be able to upgrade their graphics card or CPU if they plan to do that in the future, which the CPU that I got is a 13400. This and a 13500 are hands down my favorite CPUs of this generation, because unless you're getting something like a 4090, then this CPU is going to be doing pretty good here. So as you can see, still benchmarking. We're averaging about 200 FPS. I've done this many times, so I know I'm pretty sure it's going to be right around 202 FPS with this CPU. So this was my first time getting this motherboard. Actually, pretty much everything here I've used other than the CPU cooler and the motherboard. So the motherboard, pretty basic here. We got the two CPU inputs. We got the DDR5, which does, it goes up to 6,000, I'm pretty sure, is what the motherboard had. Oh, 6,800, so it's 6,800. I was wrong about that. So that's what that goes up to. Power supply, we're not running into any issues if we're getting the frame rate that we're supposed to. CPU cooler is pretty cool. It breaks it up from like a stock default cooler. The stock one is like all black. I had to kind of jimmy rig this RGB setup because there was only one input here, and then there's two up here, but I didn't want to run this cable all the way over here, and this case only comes with 3 fans in the front. So I had to take out one of my spare fans that I have over here. That, to be honest, actually came from some AIOs that I've had in the past. This RAM, used this a lot of times. This is like the new T-Force RAM. I'm sure that I don't need to explain why people have gotten T-Force RAM nonstop ever since T-Force ended up coming out. If it does the same thing and it's the same as something 4 times more, then why not? So 4060 Ti, I've actually gotten this graphics card quite a few times. I've literally gotten this, I want identical 3 other times. So the 4060 Ti, so I was pretty close. FPS is 199. I said 202. Score 835. This is not running Windows 8. If it's obvious, it's Windows 10. This is just what the benchmarking software uses. Keep in mind, I'm building multiple computers on a daily basis, so I don't have time to download Steam and log into my Steam account and, you know, download the 3D Mark there and use that. So I just use UDIMM because it's a very simple thing to install. I can throw it on my USB and be good to go. So yeah, overall, I mean, maybe the reason that we didn't get the higher frame rate is because of that CPU cooler. Most of the time that I build computers, I do use AIOs. So I think that's pretty safe to say. Something that's 1/10 the amount, then highly recommend all of that stuff, man. So that's a good gaming PC for 1440p. Keep in mind, this is 1440p. 4060 Ti, 13400, 200 FPS. Now, I'm gonna actually, just so that we're clear here, I do want to show you. Let me go ahead and close this really quickly. I'll show you my settings, because I didn't turn on anti-aliasing. And if you turn on anti-aliasing, it's probably gonna drop the frame by probably like, I want to say like maybe 10, but as you can see, these are the settings. It's high and all that. So let's go ahead and run this really quickly just so you can get an idea. It's probably going to drop the frame about 10-15 frames per second. So it was averaging about 200, and now, okay, so it actually took it down about 50 frames per second. So either way, it's still okay. Well, I was just at scene.